Love is revealed not in the grand declarations, but in the quiet choices we make each day. When a woman truly loves, she speaks a language that doesn't always use words. It is the language of presence, intention, and emotional generosity. She supports the man she loves in the moments no one sees. She stands behind him with a belief so steady it becomes the ground he walks on. This is not the support that shouts. It's the support that whispers, "I see you, I'm with you, keep going." When disagreements arise, she chooses connection over conquest. She understands that intimacy is not built by winning arguments, but by remembering what is at stake, the bond, the trust, the us. She is not interested in domination. She is interested in harmony, in keeping the space between them safe. Her love shows itself in details, the things most people overlook. She remembers what he likes, what he avoids, what comforts him, what triggers him. She pays attention not because she is obligated, but because care becomes effortless when the heart is involved. Love sharpens awareness. She opens her world to him. She makes space emotionally, mentally, spiritually for him to enter. This is not about dependency. It's about invitation. The invitation to be part of her inner life, her rhythm, her hopes. Allowing someone in is one of the deepest forms of trust, and her love grows. It doesn't freeze in time. She wants to evolve with him, to expand the relationship, to make their union a place of growth rather than stagnation. She understands that love asks us to stretch, to learn, to become better versions of ourselves. Finally, she loves him in the way he understands. She listens for his emotional language, whether it is touch, words, respect, time, or devotion. And she meets him there, not because she must, but because loving someone means learning how their heart receives tenderness. These are the things women do for the men they truly love. They nurture connection, they honor the small details, they protect the bond, they grow with intention, and they love with a wisdom that transforms ordinary moments into sacred ones. Love, at its best, is not a performance, it is a practice, a daily offering. A quiet, powerful choice to show up for him, for the relationship, and for the journey they are creating together. Love expresses itself through consistent, intentional actions, and this truth becomes most visible in the way a woman shows up for the man she genuinely loves. Her love does not depend on moods or circumstances. It becomes a steady rhythm, a quiet devotion that continues even on the days when she is tired, uncertain, or carrying her own burdens. It is not a performance, not something she puts on display for validation or recognition. It is a way of being, a truth she lives. When she loves, her actions begin to align with a deep inner commitment that says, "You matter. We matter." This kind of consistency is not about perfection. It is about presence. A woman in love understands that relationships are built in the small moments, not in dramatic expressions. She is consistent in the way she listens when he speaks, even when the world is loud. She pays attention to how he feels after a long day. She notices the weight he carries even when he tries to hide it. Her actions reflect this awareness. She checks on him. She supports his dreams. She encourages him to rest, to breathe, to believe in himself again. She becomes the reminder he needs, not through lectures or pressure, but through gentle certainty. Intentional action means she doesn't love on autopilot. She chooses how she loves him. She considers what strengthens the relationship and what weakens it. She does not give affection randomly or thoughtlessly. Her gestures come from a place of purpose. Even simple acts, sending a message at the right moment, preparing something he likes, offering a reassuring touch, carry intention behind them. They say, "I am thinking of you," without needing to speak the words. She becomes attuned to what supports his emotional world. When she notices he is overwhelmed, she does not demand more from him. She offers ease instead. When she sees him struggling, she doesn't criticize his pace. She walks beside him. Her love is not a shield that protects him from life, but a presence that makes the hard days easier to bear. She understands that consistency creates emotional safety, and emotional safety is what allows love to deepen. Her intentional actions extend beyond comfort. She also supports the man she loves by holding him accountable, not in a harsh way, but in a way that inspires growth. She believes in who he can become and reminds him of it when he forgets. Her consistency becomes an anchor, but her intention becomes a mirror that reflects his potential. She pushes him to rise, but always with respect, not to please her, not to fit an expectation, but to become the version of himself he already dreams of being. A woman who loves with intention gives energy rather than draining it. She does not make love heavy or conditional. She doesn't punish with silence, withdraw affection as leverage, or make connection a transaction. Her actions hold integrity. They align with what she feels and with what she hopes the relationship can grow into. She understands that the strength of love is not measured by passion alone, but by reliability. She wants to be someone he can count on, not because she has to, but because it is who she chooses to be when her heart is invested. Consistency is a form of devotion, and intention is a form of clarity. Together, they create a bond that feels stable, nurturing, and deeply human. Her love is not loud because it doesn't need to be. It speaks through the patterns she maintains, the care she offers, the steadiness she embodies. It speaks through the daily choices she makes, choices that slowly but powerfully communicate, "You are safe with me, you are valued, you are loved in the way that grows you instead of shrinking you." A woman who truly loves chooses understanding over ego, not because she is afraid of conflict, but because she understands the power of emotional maturity. She knows that in every relationship, disagreements are not signs of failure, they are invitations to deepen connection. But how she responds to these moments defines the health of the bond. When a woman loves deeply, she doesn't approach conflict as a battlefield where one must win and the other must lose. She sees it as a space where clarity, patience, and vulnerability can bring two people closer rather than push them apart. Choosing understanding does not mean she silences her own needs or suppresses her truth. It means she expresses herself without aggression, without the desire to punish, and without making the other person feel small. She becomes intentional with her tone, her words, and her presence. She pauses when her emotions rise, not because she is weak, but because she values the relationship more than the fleeting satisfaction of reacting impulsively. She seeks to understand before demanding to be understood. She listens not to defend her point, but to hear the reality of the man she loves. She knows that ego wants to be right, but love wants to be connected. So when tensions rise, she asks herself, what is really happening here? What is he feeling? What am I feeling? What does the relationship need in this moment? This level of self-awareness allows her to approach conversations with clarity rather than chaos. She becomes a grounding force. Instead of feeding the fire, she reduces its intensity so real communication can begin. Her ability to choose peace is not a passive act. It is a conscious, powerful choice. Peace does not mean avoiding hard conversations. It means approaching them with respect. It means not using silence as punishment or words as weapons. It means she refuses to let temporary emotions create permanent damage. She is aware that conflict handled with care becomes a doorway to greater closeness. She wants solutions, not victories. She wants healing, not dominance. A woman who loves with emotional maturity understands the deeper layers of conflict. She knows that sometimes frustration comes not from the moment itself, but from hidden fears, insecurities, or past experiences. Instead of reacting only to the surface, she looks underneath. She recognizes when he is overwhelmed, when he is hurt, or when he is afraid. She doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but she seeks the truth behind his reactions. This compassion does not make her naive, it makes her wise. It allows her to break cycles rather than repeat them. In love, she sees the relationship as a shared space that must be protected. Ego tries to divide that space, but she works to preserve it. She knows that every argument has two sides, and every misunderstanding carries two truths. By acknowledging this, she invites collaboration rather than competition. Her approach softens tension and opens the path for healing. She speaks calmly, even when her heart is racing. She expresses her feelings clearly, not to blame but to reveal. And she invites him to do the same. Choosing understanding over ego also means she takes responsibility for her own emotional patterns. She reflects, she learns, she grows. She apologizes when she is wrong, not because she wants approval, but because she values integrity. She seeks resolution, not control. She wants the relationship to be a safe place where both partners can be flawed, yet still feel loved. Her emotional wisdom becomes the quiet force that shapes the relationship. It builds trust. It creates harmony. It teaches the man she loves that vulnerability is not a risk but a pathway. With her, he learns that he doesn't have to fight to be heard. He only needs to speak. And she will listen, not to win, but to connect. This is how she transforms conflict into closeness, and how her love becomes not just an emotion, but a profound, stabilizing presence in his life. A woman who truly loves demonstrates her affection through the smallest, most thoughtful gestures, understanding that love resides in attention and presence rather than grand statements or dramatic displays. She recognizes that relationships thrive not on fleeting moments of passion, but on a consistent, mindful awareness of her partner's needs, preferences, and emotional world. Her love becomes visible in the way she notices the details that others might overlook, and in her willingness to act upon them. Every small act becomes a thread weaving the fabric of a deeper, more intimate connection. She remembers the things that matter most to him: his favorite meals, the way he likes his coffee, the books he enjoys, the music that uplifts him, or even the way he prefers to unwind after a long day. These may seem trivial to the outside observer, but to someone who understands the language of love, they are powerful affirmations of care. She does not ask for recognition or gratitude. The act itself is the expression of her devotion. By paying attention to the details, she communicates a profound message. I see you, I know you, I value your happiness. Her attentiveness extends beyond tangible things. She listens to the subtleties of his moods, the shifts in his tone, and the unspoken messages that accompany his words. When he feels anxious or overwhelmed, she senses it before he even verbalizes it. When he achieves something significant, she celebrates it with genuine enthusiasm, reflecting back his joy and amplifying it. She becomes attuned to his emotional rhythm, learning how to respond in ways that nurture and uplift him. This sensitivity is not innate for everyone. It is cultivated through presence, empathy, and the conscious choice to prioritize connection over distraction. She also practices thoughtfulness in anticipating his needs. She notices when he could use comfort, encouragement, or simply a moment of quiet, and she acts accordingly. Whether it's preparing something to ease his day, sending a simple message to check in, or creating space for him to rest, her gestures carry intention and mindfulness. They are small acts, but they accumulate over time into a profound expression of love that feels steady, reliable, and nurturing. Through these actions, she demonstrates that love is an active commitment, not a passive feeling. Her care extends into the subtle ways she interacts with him daily. She remembers significant dates, celebrates milestones, and acknowledges achievements in ways that feel personalized and authentic. She notices when he needs reassurance, when he seeks encouragement, or when he simply craves companionship. Every action is informed by a deep awareness of who he is, what he values, and what makes him feel seen. Her love becomes an ongoing dialogue, spoken in deeds rather than words alone, where each thoughtful gesture is a message of affirmation and presence. Moreover, she uses these small acts as a way to build trust and emotional safety. By consistently remembering what matters to him and acting with care, she creates a sense of stability and reliability in the relationship. He learns that he can count on her to notice, to respond, and to honor the unique person he is. This attention to detail fosters intimacy, because intimacy is grounded in the knowledge that one is truly seen and understood. Her gestures, while small, serve as bridges connecting hearts, creating closeness even in the mundane moments of life. Ultimately, the love of a woman who remembers the details is transformative. It teaches that care is an art form, that devotion is expressed in mindful observation, and that emotional attunement is a language of its own. Every small act, every remembered preference, every quiet gesture becomes a living testament to the depth of her affection. Her love is not loud, but it is unmistakable. It is felt in the subtle ways she honors, nurtures, and cherishes the man she loves, creating a bond that is profound, resilient, and enduring. A woman who truly loves understands the profound significance of making space for the person she cares about, and this space is far more than physical. It is emotional, mental, and spiritual, a sanctuary where the man she loves can feel seen, heard, and valued. Love, in its most authentic form, requires the willingness to create room for another person's thoughts, feelings, and dreams without judgment or interference. She does not dominate, control, or fill every corner of his life with her own expectations. Instead, she intentionally opens spaces where he can exist fully, where his individuality is honored, and where the relationship can flourish in freedom and trust. Making space is an act of generosity. It requires her to balance her own needs with his, to step back when necessary, and to offer support without suffocating. She recognizes that intimacy is not about possession. It is about coexistence, partnership, and mutual respect. By allowing him to express himself, to make decisions, and to pursue his passions, she fosters a relationship that is built on trust rather than dependency. Her love is not restrictive. It is expansive, creating room for growth for both of them. This space is also emotional. She listens without judgment, allowing him to express his fears, frustrations, and vulnerabilities without fear of ridicule or dismissal. she becomes a safe harbor, a place where he can lower his defenses and be his authentic self. In doing so, she demonstrates that love is not about controlling outcomes or changing someone to fit a mold. It is about embracing the whole person, including their imperfections and complexities. By providing emotional space, she encourages him to explore his feelings, to process his thoughts, and to grow emotionally without pressure. She also creates mental space, respecting his individuality and personal perspective. She does not seek to impose her beliefs or opinions forcefully, but instead fosters dialogue and understanding. She encourages his interests, even when they differ from her own, and supports his decisions with care and consideration. By doing this, she acknowledges that a healthy relationship thrives not in uniformity, but in the harmony of two distinct individuals choosing to share their lives. She demonstrates that true love celebrates uniqueness rather than demanding conformity. Spiritual space is equally important. She respects his inner journey, his values, and his sense of purpose. She does not compete for attention or validation. Instead, she becomes a companion who honors his path and encourages him to pursue what makes his soul feel alive. By doing this, she reinforces that love is a partnership where both individuals can grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Her support is quiet but powerful, showing that creating space is not absence but a conscious choice to nurture connection through freedom and respect. Making space also involves practical gestures, allowing him time for hobbies, for rest, for reflection, and for social connections outside of the relationship. She understands that presence in love is not synonymous with constant closeness. True intimacy is built on trust, respect, and the recognition that each person needs time to recharge, reflect, and flourish independently. Her ability to provide this balance shows emotional intelligence, maturity, and an understanding of the rhythms of love. By making space, she teaches the value of patience, empathy, and selflessness. She demonstrates that love is not about control, but about creating conditions for each other's growth. Her gestures, both big and small, reflect a deep respect for his individuality while nurturing the bond they share. In her love, space is not emptiness. It is a fertile ground where trust, connection, and intimacy can grow. It is in this space that both partners feel safe to be themselves, to evolve, and to create a relationship that is resilient, enduring, and profoundly alive. A woman who truly loves does not view a relationship as a static space where comfort and familiarity are the ultimate goals. Instead, she sees it as a living, evolving connection that requires growth, adaptation, and shared progress. She understands that love is not simply a feeling, but a commitment to continuous development both for herself and for the man she cherishes. When she chooses to grow with him, she acknowledges that life is dynamic and that a thriving relationship demands curiosity, patience, and the willingness to evolve together. This growth is not about changing one another to fit an ideal. It is about nurturing potential, exploring new horizons, and cultivating a partnership that enriches both lives. She approaches growth with awareness and intention. She reflects on her own patterns, recognizing areas where she can improve, communicate more effectively, and become a more compassionate partner. She does not expect perfection from herself or from him, but she believes in the power of incremental improvement. By working on her own development, she sets a standard of commitment to the relationship, showing that love requires action, mindfulness, and responsibility. Her growth is a mirror for him, gently encouraging him to explore his own potential and to embrace the transformative power of love. Her love also manifests through a willingness to adapt to his evolving needs and aspirations. She understands that as life changes, so too must the relationship. She celebrates his successes and supports his ambitions, knowing that his growth does not threaten their bond but strengthens it. She engages in conversations about dreams, fears, and goals, not as a critic, but as a collaborator. She listens actively, offering guidance, encouragement, and honest feedback when necessary, always with respect for his individuality. Her presence becomes a source of stability in a world of change, providing both safety and inspiration as they navigate life together. A woman who grows with her partner also embraces learning as a shared journey. She is open to discovering new perspectives, exploring different ways of thinking, and experimenting with ways to strengthen their connection. She understands that relationships flourish when curiosity replaces complacency, when communication evolves beyond routine, and when emotional intelligence guides each interaction. She encourages dialogue about emotions, challenges, and aspirations, knowing that vulnerability and honesty are essential components of growth. Through this engagement, both partners expand their capacity for empathy, understanding, and intimacy. She also demonstrates resilience in the face of challenges, viewing obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than threats to the relationship. When conflicts arise, she seeks to understand the underlying issues and to address them constructively. She does not shy away from difficult conversations or uncomfortable truths. Instead, she approaches them with courage, patience, and a commitment to learning. By doing so, she models how love can be both tender and strong, capable of weathering difficulties while fostering mutual development. Her love encourages him to become the best version of himself without pressure or expectation. She celebrates his strengths while gently guiding him to recognize areas where he can improve. She offers inspiration, not judgment, creating an environment where growth feels natural, supported, and empowering. Her dedication to evolving together fosters a deep sense of partnership, where both individuals feel motivated to grow while remaining connected at their core. Ultimately, the woman who grows with her partner transforms the relationship into a dynamic force, one that nurtures personal development, emotional depth, and shared purpose. Her commitment to growth is an expression of love that transcends the ordinary, revealing that true connection is not merely about comfort or companionship, but about creating a space where both individuals can flourish. Through her example, love becomes a journey of continuous discovery, mutual enrichment, and profound transformation, demonstrating that when two people choose to grow together, the relationship becomes stronger, wiser, and more enduring with every step. A woman who truly loves understands that love is not only about feelings but about attunement, tuning into the way her partner experiences the world and expressing care in the ways that resonate most deeply with him. She knows that every individual receives love differently, whether through words, actions, touch, quality time, or gestures of service. Her attentiveness to his unique emotional language is a reflection of her commitment, empathy, and desire to connect on a level that transcends surface interaction. She does not assume that what makes her feel loved will automatically make him feel the same. Instead, she observes, listens, and learns, shaping her expressions of affection in ways that truly reach him. This kind of love requires sensitivity, She notices the subtle cues that reveal what matters most to him, the glimmer in his eyes when he is acknowledged, the relaxation of his shoulders when he feels supported, or the quiet gratitude in his voice when his efforts are recognized. She pays attention to his responses, not just the obvious reactions, but the nuanced signals that indicate whether he feels understood and cherished. By doing so, she crafts her love in a form that is meaningful, intentional, and effective, rather than generic or performative. Her focus is not on impressing him, but on connecting with him authentically. She demonstrates love in ways that align with his needs and preferences. If he values words of affirmation, she offers encouragement, compliments, and sincere expressions of appreciation. If he thrives through acts of service, she anticipates what would lighten his load or ease his day, performing these acts with care and attention. If quality time is his love language, she ensures presence, undistracted engagement, and meaningful shared experiences. If physical touch conveys security and warmth to him, she gives hugs, holds hands, or offers comfort in ways that make him feel safe. Her ability to translate love into his personal language demonstrates both thoughtfulness and respect. Her attentiveness goes beyond superficial gestures. It is rooted in a deep understanding of his inner world. She observes what energizes him, what soothes him, and what inspires him. She recognizes that love is not a one-size-fits-all concept and adapts her behavior to create a sense of emotional resonance. When she acts in alignment with his needs, she validates his experience, strengthens trust, and fosters intimacy. He feels seen and valued not for meeting her expectations, but for who he truly is. Her love becomes a mirror that reflects his worth back to him, reinforcing the connection between them. She also exercises patience and humility in learning his love language. She understands that understanding someone deeply takes time and attention. She may make mistakes or misread signals, but her commitment to learning ensures that she adjusts and persists. This persistence is an act of devotion, showing that love is not merely emotional, but also intentional and skillful. She does not expect perfection from herself or from him. Instead, she focuses on progress, empathy, and mutual enrichment. By loving him in his language, she strengthens the foundation of their relationship. He experiences love as a tangible, felt reality rather than an abstract concept. Her actions create safety, trust, and connection, allowing him to open fully and reciprocate in ways that are equally authentic. Their bond deepens because she meets him where he is, rather than where she wishes him to be. This creates a dynamic of reciprocity, understanding, and emotional intimacy that sustains the relationship over time. Ultimately, the woman who loves in his language embodies the principle that love is not simply an internal feeling. It is an active, conscious practice. Her attentiveness, care, and adaptability transform ordinary interactions into meaningful expressions of connection. Through her, love becomes not only experienced, but also understood, internalized, and reciprocated in ways that nourish both hearts. She teaches that when love is given in the way it is meant to be received, it becomes a profound force for trust, growth, and enduring closeness, creating a relationship that is vibrant, resilient, and deeply fulfilling. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. Wishing you all the best. Goodbye.